What's going on, Falcon fans? This is your boy Ricondo. Come back at you with another video. So today we're going to talk about Dion Jones and his trade and what that means for the Falcons moving forward. Talking about end of an era pretty much. The Dan Quinn Thomas Dimitrov era is pretty much over. I think this trade kind of solidifies that, and now these guys can start moving forward, building their team, the team that they want to move with going forward. And then we're going to talk about recap the game from yesterday, and some of the things that we did good, some of the things that did bad. Of course, when we'll talk about the missed call, bad call yesterday as well, while we was not able to try to complete that comeback. But we'll get into that. And then guys, like the title says, on into the 49ers, right? We got to put that past us. Get one day to soak about it. Win or lose, you got to go ahead and move to the next game. So, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and please subscribe to the channel. Please hit that notification bell so you know I'm not dropping another video. Please hit the like buttons. I know you guys like hear that talk about. Then please share my video throughout the YouTube universe so more people can come in and hear me talk about these Atlanta Falcons. So, like I said, the first thing we're going to talk about is Dion Jones. Of course, I'm pretty sure everybody knows by now that the Atlanta Falcons actually traded Dion Jones to the Cleveland Browns for a. They gave up their 7th round pick in 2024, and then they took a 6th round pick in 2024. So that's the trade. I don't think it was about the compensation. It was really about just getting that salary hit off their books, right? With with that trade, that brings the Atlanta Falcons to $65,679,000 in dead cap for this year, right? That's a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money on dead cap. Of course, all those contracts we have. We had Julio, we got Redante Fowler, um, Dion Jones, Matt Ryan, all those all those salaries total from the Thomas Dimitrov, Dan Quinn era. It's all in that dead cap. And pretty much what's this solidifying is that the Atlanta Falcon has a clean cap pretty much moving forward. That's what it solidifies. Yes, they decided to keep guys from the Dan Quinn era. Only you think about it, it's only two guys left from that 2016 Super Bowls, and that is Grady Jarrett and Jake Matthews. And we all know both of those guys, got a contract extension this year. So um we know that they want to see those two guys moving forward and into their this new regime. And then you look at next year, right now they got about 35 guys already on the roster for next year. So going in, it projected they're going to have about 55 to 54 million dollars. That's according to over the cap. Of course, if we decide to do something with Kevin Ridley contract, because that's a $11 million hit, it's on the books. So if they was to do something with that $11 million hit for trade Kevin Ridley or anything like that, that would add $11 million to that $54 million for next year. So Dion Jones, I don't think it was a surprise. I thought after June 1st, because everybody, had that June 1st deadline to actually trade for Dion Jones that's out there, right? Once that passed, and then we found out he had the procedure over the offseason, I assumed that he was just gonna be here this year. But then, the way they let him play for that one preseason game, and then they put him on IR, said he was not ready to play. I kind of figured that they probably had something in the works. It really tells me is that what they decided to do, that he was not part of their future. That's why they went out and drafted Troy Anderson, right? They went and brought in Rashawn Evans. They wanted Michael Walker to be part of their future. They wanted Troy Anderson to be part of their future, and then of course they had to bring a veteran guy in like Rashawn Evans in to help, solidifies that inside linebacker position. Right now, I like our inside linebackers. They got a lot of work to do. Missed tackles. We can talk about yesterday. I thought Michael Walker missed some key tackles yesterday. I thought Troy Anderson is starting to show. His ability is, of course, we already know he's a get the athlete already, but trying to learn the game, starting to pick up things and pick up the scheme a little bit more. I thought he played well once Michael Walker went out. It'll be interesting to see if Michael Walker will be able to go today. This week they did mention that he had a groin. Those are kind of tricky. So it's gonna be we'll see how that pans out for Michael Walker. Um, going in for this weekend. But however, I thought Troy Anderson definitely um played well considering coming in. Like I said, I still think he's a raw talent, still learning, how to play linebacker. Got to remember, he played so many positions in college. He played quarterback, running back, and he played linebacker. So he's still learning the position. But his athletic ability, his traits, I think overall, that's why this is important for him to start getting these opportunities this year to actually, solidify himself to be the best he can be moving forward. So, what's going on, Falcons fan? Falcons fan said, I think we will win the next 6 out of 8 games. I love that confidence, man. I really do. I really like that confidence. I think what I last week what I said about these next 3 games is really, into my opinion, is a measuring stick for the Atlanta Falcons, because we were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Cincinnati Bengals, who actually went to the Super Bowl last year, right? I thought that was going to be a good test for us to kind of see where we were moving into, you know, this stretch. I think these first 5 games, this team has been very competitive. I don't think nobody wants to go toe to toe with this team. We still have not completely put a 60-minute game together yet, which is, it's kind of typical for a young team, right? But you can see the traits there. You can see how well coached this team is. Um, I think really those 6 penalties that we had really hurt us last yesterday in the game. I'm not going to talk about, 2 of the penalties I thought was a bunch of crap anyway, but I'm talking about the penalties that we had on offensive side of the ball. I thought it killed some of our momentum that we was getting in some of our drives, right? The one holding penalty that I think about with Drew Dahlman got a holding penalty, and Marcus Mariota hit Drake London for like a 25-yard reception. That got called back, put us third and long. So, we had another big play where Elijah Wilkinson grabbed Vita Vea's face mask. Um, that's another penalty that kind of stalled our drive. So I felt like a lot of our drives that we had, it was self-inflicted wounds. Um, we knew for a fact that Tampa Bay was embarrassed last week playing the Chiefs. They was gonna come out and they was gonna try to stop the run. I thought Arthur Smith kind of got away from what he does well early in the game. He was trying to do a little more passing, instead of just trying to establish the run. But towards the end of the game, I thought we got back to what we do best, and we started to utilize what we do. I mean, that's what we do. We ran the ball. Not taking anything away from yesterday's game, but yes, we did have Kyle Pitts out. We did have Cordell Patterson out. Other guys had to step up. We had, I think, was one of the biggest plays in the game, in my opinion, was the drop that Cordell Hodge had on the screen play, which I think would have scored on that play. The safety was blitzing off the half. It was a perfect call for that blitz. They had it blocked up. If he would have caught that ball, I think, and that was going into the half, right? If you go back, you think about that possession, because I think in these last 2 years, Arthur Smith has played the situational football pretty decent, especially at in the halves and trying at the end of games, right? Trying to run that 4 minute, 2 minute offense. But in the half, especially when we deferred to the second half, he was able to actually get the ball back, go drive the ball down the field. Like I said, I felt like we could have scored, but we still should at least came away with 4 points. I mean, 3 points on that drive. Of course, Young Way Quick Cool missed the field goal. Then we come back right after that and give them a field goal. That's how I end up being 13-0 going into half instead of 13. I mean, 10-3 or maybe even 10-7. So, um, those are kind of things that we missed out yesterday. Um, not talking about that play that really that everybody, the media got flooded with yesterday after the game and all day today. Yes, it was a bad call, 100%. Um, I thought we got screwed in that game. There's no way you can try to, justify it. They can say what they want to say. I thought we got justified on that call, and then you go back a third down before that. AJ Terrell got called for a holding penalty. That would have also took us off the field. So, uh, two bad calls in that last drive for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for them to ice the game. But we had so many other opportunities that we could have, capitalized on in that game. So we're not going to let ourselves out the hook. I appreciate it that Arthur Smith, the players on the team, is acknowledging that. They had so many different opportunities that they could to win that game, to actually be in that game. Not put themselves in the hole and leave it up to you know Tom Brady's cousins and his buddies to bail him out. When you think Ritter would come in, I have no idea. Um, you know, the interesting thing about this team when we talk about Desmond Ritter is that the fact that this Marcus Mariota is not accurate. The passing game is like non-existent. These are facts, right? He's not accurate. Passing game is not non-existent. We can say that his receivers a couple of times has drops. I think you count two drops yesterday from his receivers. Um, so it's not all on him. One thing we do know that Marcus Mariota is doing very well is his command of running the offense. I think that has to you cannot overlook that. The way he commands the offense is really good for this team. So I get the question of Ritter, but I don't think Desmond Ritter is going to be coming anytime soon. Just because um, this, I mean, that's right there. I think this team is so close to being dynamic. We have to unlock the passing game, though. I do agree with that 100%. But I don't know if Desmond Ritter is ready to command the offense like Marcus Mariota is. It's a lot to be said about making sure guys are in the right plays and positions, running the offense, understanding what you're looking at on the field. And right now, we don't know if Desmond Ritter is capable of doing that. We just got to trust his coaching staff and see um, what's going to happen. But you're right. I think the passing game has to get unlocked. That's going to make this team actually be really, really good if we can actually start to hit our targets. I think it's just doing injustice to guys like Kyle Pitts, guys like Drake London, that they're not being able to show all their skill sets. You just can't say it's always something when anyone plays against Tom Brady. Exactly, man. Like I mean, everybody agrees that if it wasn't Tom Brady that played that call probably wouldn't have got called at all. But since it's him, like I said, we can't, and that's why I said earlier we just don't want to put it in those guys' hand to let him win the game because it's always something. Go back to the Super Bowl. How many holding penalties that did we get in that Super Bowl game that helped them kept drives going as well? So it never stops. I'm not worried about the team; they will be fine in the long run. I agree. I agree with you 100%. Um, like I said, this is just a different team, right? If you go back and look at the team from last year, it's a completely different team from last year. I think everybody acknowledges that. Um, and just think about it. This defense almost stood up 3 weeks in a row. And I think they did stand up 3 weeks in a way. I think they got stolen from us yesterday from that call, but the defense stood up 3 weeks in a row. And and we never know if the offense was going to be able to go down and capitalize off what the defense was able to do. But um, that's a bright spot. You just think about it. The second half, this defense been playing great football. They only gave up 7 points in the second half. Um, that's really impressive. Especially when you think about it, Tom Brady had 256 yards passing in the first half alone, right? And they only gave us 7 points in the second half. So that's already something that you can say that is different for this team. Um, say Ritter isn't ready yet. He's not ready yet. I agree with you 100%. He's not ready to take over the reins. Um, he's not. Guys need to start catching when. Yes, yes, they do. I mean, like I said, the one of the key plays in the game to me is that string play to Cardell Hodge. If that was big play, big moment. I get it. He didn't look the ball in. He was trying to take off for. He got the ball in his hand, and that's a big play. The holding penalty by Drew Dalton was a big play. The face mask by Elijah Wilkinson was a big play. Right, all those plays, um, they happen. They happen, and it stalled our drives. Right, it really did. It stalled our drives. Um, they played the play action, the bootlegs. They played that well. You have to tip your hats out to Tampa Bay. Every time Mariota he went out for the bootleg, they was there. They stayed home. They played that very well. So I mean, it was just some things that um, execution wise that we was not able to execute yesterday to put us in the hole that we was in to let Tom Brady cousins um, help him out. But you are 100% right. On to the next game. We got just going to get it. That's right. Usually, you think about it. Um, you suck. You suck because if you would have won the game, we still had to move on to get ready for San Francisco. Right? We'd be happy. You know, victory Monday. But look at the film, see what you did wrong, see what you did good, and then you got to move on to the next game. So the same be said if in a loss, everybody, emotions were high yesterday, mine included. I came in here, all I wanted to talk about was the blown, the bad call of roughing the passer. I mean, that overshadowed the whole game, right? Not the fact, like I said, that our offense didn't do anything in the first half. Um, and I mean, not the fact that how well that our defense played in the second half, right? Um, we had three straight three and outs on defense. That what got us back in the game. Like I said, that get overshadowed. Those are the things that I want to come by and talk about. And even if we would have got there when they got the rough in the passer, they would have punted the ball back to our team, and our team would have came up short. At least we would have felt better about it. Understanding that the integrity of the game was not questioned. Because from what happened to me, in my opinion, it kind of questioned the integrity of the game. So we're just talking about that game in general. Um, so we only had 261 total yards. Like I said, it's not going to get it done. 110 passing yards. That include the sacks. I think Marcus Mariota actually passed for 147 yards, but of course you factor in the sacks that he got. We was sacked. We was sacked 5 times in that game. That's too many times for our quarterback to be sacked. So like I said, it's a lot of things that we definitely need to look at and work on. But he says, why do you think so many people want Ritter to start now? And the reason I just said why people want Desmond Ritter to start to get in because we had 110 passing yards. That's why. And, I mean, that's really what it boils down to. I mean, you think about it last year, and you put it in perspective. Our receiving core last year was nothing like it is this year, and Matt Ryan, you know, a good passer of the ball, was able to complete passes down the field to that receiving core that we had last year. Um, what we need Marcus Mariota to do just to be able to do the same thing. We got better talent out on the outside now with our receiving core, and we're not able to open up the passing game. Our running game is so good. Just imagine if we could open up that passing game. So that's why everybody is calling for Desmond Ritter. I don't think right now he's the key though. I don't think he's the answer because I don't think he's ready yet. Um, and if there was a so-called rebuild, we was this team sucked. Like everybody thought it was gonna suck. Maybe go ahead and put the young guy in. But I think this team's real competitive. I think Marcus Mariota is doing the job that he needs to do to help us win games. but I'm not gonna just disregard 110 passing yard. That will not get it done. Um, we have to be better, and that we was 6 for 14 on third downs yesterday. Um, that's not going to get it done. And vice versa. Um, they was 9 for 16, right? So they was over 50% on third down yesterday. We could not get out of the field on third down. One reason we couldn't get out the field on third down because we kept getting them third and shorts. Um, One thing I know Dean P's got to work on, and if you ever playing Tom Brady, it's like a given. He utilizes running backs a lot out the backfield. That's really what killed us the most game, in my opinion, was the fact that the running back, his check down was coming out the backfield almost every play. Um, Leonard Fournette had a career day in receptions in the game, 10 reception. So that's what I mean about, you know, he milked that play and they kept getting them in third and shorts. That's why they had such a good third down percentage for us. And then for us, we could not do anything on first and second down. I think Marcus Mariota mentioned this in his press conference yesterday, is that our first and second down was bad. We kept getting behind the chains. We was getting third and long, and when you get in third and long, especially with our passing game the way it's set up, um, we're not gonna have a good percentages in that. So we got to do good on first and second down. That's why Arthur Smith was coming out passing on first down yesterday, because these guys, they was ready to stop the run. They've been hearing about it all week, how dynamic Atlanta running game was, and they was really like, we got to be able to stop those guys. You said we need to play out 4 quarters. Until we do it, we're gonna have to keep saying this comment here. Until we play 4 complete quarters, we definitely gonna have to. We're gonna keep hearing this week in and week out. Um, yeah, he's not. He's not. He's not. He's not Matt Ryan. I mean, it's interesting because, like I said, we gave up 5 sacks yesterday, which is that's pretty bad. Giving up that many sacks in the game. But our offensive line, we've been, patting those guys on the back this year because how good they've been doing in the running game, but they still need to work on that pass protection. I thought Jake Matthews got beat by the Wrigley a couple times yesterday. Joe Tryon um put 2 nasty spin moves on Jake Matthews yesterday, and I thought he got beat on some moves as well. I mean, that's our veteran tackle. So our offensive line does need to give Marcus Mariota time, but he needs to be able to hit some of those shots. I thought a couple times he threw the ball high to Olumide Zaccheaus on those quick, read option slants that he had. Um, but you're not going to discount some of the drops he had as well. We did have some drops yesterday. Receivers need to start making sure they catch the ball. And like I said yesterday, D led the Atlanta led better would not let it go. He kept talking about, we were missing about 35% of our offense yesterday, and Cardell Patterson and Kyle Pitts out. So it was going to be tough sledding anyway. Felipe Franks dropped a first down catch himself. Um, so these are the things that, if you're looking at the game, and we're not going to talk about the whole job they gave us on that last drive with that bad penalty they called, but um we're going to talk about the things that the Falcons can do to not put themselves in those positions, to let Tom Brady and his cousins help him out, like he been doing all his career. I mean, it's just, and I think they need to change it, because I mean, when a referee decides to put the game into his opinion, what he think he saw, what his feeling is, I don't agree with it. I think they need to do, and if you think about in college, the targeting rule, right? They call targeting, on the field, then they go review it to see was it targeting. I think the same thing should be done for roughing the passer. They call roughing the passer. If he thought of roughing the passer because he saw it was full speed, that's what he saw. But I feel like they should be able to go back and look at that on the film, um, and determine that that was not roughing the passer. I mean, it was nowhere near close to roughing the passer. And then what they really need to do is go back the couple of times that Grady Jarrett did get Tom Brady to the ground. He was kicking him. I mean, I don't understand why that wasn't even mentioned. He was kicking Grady Jarrett to get off of him both times. One time early in the game when he got rid of the ball, but Grady was able to throw him to the ground. And then on that sack, he kicked him again. So I really think that if you're gonna call the game fair down the line, and that's not what we saw, right? So I mean, if you're gonna call roughing the passer because in your mind that's what you think it is, call it. But it should be allowed. And I think the NFL could change that today because I think that was such a big play in the game. And somebody mentioned it today. If that was a playoff game, um, that would have been so bad for the team, for the Atlanta Falcons if we was in the playoffs and we got holes like that, because that was clearly not roughing the passer, and because he felt like it was, he can make a call like that to change the whole. The Atlanta Falcons had momentum in that game. They had just scored two touchdowns, 2-point conversion, and they had opportunity to win that game. It wouldn't even been a tie. It would have had a chance to touchdown field goal would have won the game. So Atlanta had all the momentum, and by doing it the way he did it, like I said, making a judgment call, I think they need to take that rule out. Pass interference, I can understand pass interference judgment. Somebody mentioned that they thought D. Alford pass interference Scotty Miller earlier in that drive. That's, to me, that's judgmental because he got his head around. He did get his head around. He got there a little early, but he got a head turn around, and the ball went out of bounds anyway. But a roughing the passing penalty, I think it's bang bang. You can look at that play. I don't know what Grady Jarrett was supposed to do. His explanation to why he called it, he said he grabbed him and he threw him down unnecessarily. I mean, that's a sack. I really don't understand what he expected Grady to do in that. Um, you said the favoritism in the league needs to stop. Yes, it does, man. It was because it was Tom Brady, 100%, and it's a damn shame. While I said it was good, Recon, I think Art Smith had to get better with his play calling on passing plays when defenses are crowding the offensive line to blitz. Yeah, I agree 100%, but I can't tell you this, man. Um, how many, and you guys can let me know, how many deep passes have Marcus Mariota hit this season? He has not hit that many deep passes this season. Like he seems like he's off target. The pass he threw to Felipe Frank, first of all, I don't know why we was throwing the ball that deep to Felipe Franks, but it was off target. Like he's off target with his deep passes. Those guys need to be in the lab working on their deep pass connections right now because um, I mean, if Arthur Smith, offense is really set up to run the ball, take the play action and take big shots down the field. That's what it's set up to do. But we have not hit a deep pass, you know, pretty much all season. I mean, you, you hit the one to Drake, maybe in Seattle, the one to Kyle Pitts, but I'm talking about like a deep shot down the middle of the field, deep shot down the sideline. That's what I want to see. So you're right. He do need to, to be able to start because they're gonna put eight in the box and they blitzing, especially on third and long. We know they coming. It's hot side there. Like I said, I think if you go back to the play I talk about with Cordell Hodge, that was a perfect play. The blitz was coming in from the safety. Cordell Hodge catch that. That's a touchdown. So it is some things where um, we got to execute better. Of course, Arthur Smith, you always got to look yourself in the mirror and call plays better. But I think this team realized that they can't put themselves in holes where they have to. And I think Lorenzo Carter said it best. Um, And his press conference was, you know, they got to start faster. They won't put themselves in a hole. So they have to fight for them lives to get back into the game. We love to fight for the team. You can't take nothing away from that. But I mean, this let's put the numbers out there. Tom Brady had 256 passing yards in the first half. Um, they didn't score a lot. They only had 13 points, but at the same time, he was moving the ball up and down the field on us. And like I said, when you have those kind of long play drives, your offense is not able to come out there and get in any rhythm like that. So, um, if you're going to have those long play drives, let's try to not let them get a touchdown. Make them drive long like that, and then they come away with 3 points maybe, or like we did on that first drive, we stop them on fourth down. Those are the kind of defensive drives we want to be able to produce. If our offense, especially when our offense is not uh, able to get in any kind of rhythm. So, good point there, Wallace, though, about calling the blitzes. Like I said, I mean, you just looking at it. Um, Almost 5 yards to carry yesterday. Once again, 151 rushing yards. The big number everybody's going to look at why they keep clamoring for a Desmond Ritter is the 110 passing yards, right? Um, and 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 that's in the passing lead today, right? We are running team 100%, but um, I think when you have weapons out there that you got to be able to try to get these guys. Yesterday you could make excuses, right? We was without Kyle Pitts, um, so I think Kyle Pitts, if he get his usual 80 yards, receptions a game, that will put us almost at 200 yards receiving. I think we do that. Keep keep it our 170 yard average rushing. We almost over 400 yards total offense. That'll do for this team. That's how this team built. I think that's how Arthur Smith want to have this team, and that's that's one some of the things that we can build on. We just got to unlock the passing game. I know these guys working hard at it, but I can tell you this: nobody start looking for Desmond Ritter because he's not coming anytime soon. Um, I don't think Marcus Mariota been as bad as people think. Um, I think as a team, we have not executed um, well as a team, and that's in the passing game. Like I said, you giving up 5 sacks. I thought one of his sacks, I counted one of his sacks. He hold the ball for 6 seconds. You cannot hold the ball for 6 seconds in the NFL. Could have been a coverage sack if that's the case. Get out of the pocket, throw it out of bounds. But um, if you're you know get the ball, you go back and you count the six in your head. That's too long. You're going to get a sack in that instance. Um, couple sacks that they got was on blitzes. Couple was on bootlegs. I thought the Tampa Bay Buccaneers played the bootlegs well yesterday. Um, so I thought maybe he should have did more dropbacks instead of doing the bootlegs. Um, and trying to make plays when he was able to set his feet and make throws. He did. I mean, we got a couple first downs on some good throws by Marcus Mariota. I thought, like I said, the one to Felipe Franks, that first drive on third down, it hit him in the hand. He should have caught that. He did get hit, but he should have caught that. But that's what happens when you get a tight end converted from a quarterback, right? So those the kind of things you're gonna actually see, in this game. So, guys, that's enough talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and what we could fix in that game. I know these guys looked at the film, they worked on the things they need to work on. Now it's on to the San Francisco 49ers. Of course, on Wednesday, I'll go ahead and do my keys about how these guys going to play, but they just, do a quick, you know, look at this team. They had a lot of injuries yesterday. Nick Bosa went out with a groin. They lost their safety. They lost their kicker. Um, one of the other defensive tackles did not play yesterday as well. So it'd be interesting to see, how healthy those guys are, coming into the game on Sunday. That's the way NFL goes, right? We already know this. Injuries play a big part in this game. We saw the Seattle lost their running back already. Um, Steelers, um, JJ, TJ Watt still's out, right? Baker Mayfield, which I don't think it mattered for him anyway. Baker Mayfield is going to be out about 2 weeks. I mean, that's the name of the game in NFL, injuries. So 49ers going to come in. They might be a little beat up. Next man up mentality, just like us. We might not have Kyle Pitts again. We know CP is not going to be there. We also might not have Michael Walker. He went out yesterday. We'll have to see the status on him. So that means Troy Anderson is going to definitely get a lot of more snaps. So those are kind of things you got to look at. We got to get in. This is the best defense statistically in the NFL that we're going to be playing on Sunday. All right. So we got to get ready. Like I said, it's kind of interesting this game because Kyle Shanahan wants to do, Archie Smith wants to do. He wants to run the ball. That's what he wants to do. We know that. So I kind of go back to what we did in the Cleveland game. Get ready, who's going to win the trench battle in this game coming up. It's going to be really important for us to see who's going to win in the front seven. I think D'Amico Ryan is doing a great job at defensive coordinator for the San Francisco 49ers. He has those guys flying around. They really confident. They love playing for him. You can see the excitement out there. So they come out. They're gonna be headhunters. We got to be ready for those guys. I think our offensive line and our guys, we like that physicality. So it's gonna be another chess match. Well, they got Jimmy Garoppolo over there. I put him in the same boat with Jacoby Brissett. So he will make mistakes, so we don't have another Tom Brady, in the game we got to worry about. But they do have a couple, dynamic weapons. Of course, Kittle over there, Deebo Samuels. They got Ayuk that we got to worry about, and then their plethora of running backs that they run. They got Telvin Coleman. He's a blur with the ball. So there's just some of the key matchups that I'm pretty sure Archie Smith and Dean Pease are already looking at and trying to figure out how to get that win on Sunday, where we can get back on track, um, and stay in this NFC. I think the NFC is really wide open right now. Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles are playing well. Far as that, every other team is like right there. We definitely have a chance to make some noise in the NFC right now. We're by no means out of it. We just need to, you know, keep improving week to week, right? Um, we got to try to figure out our passing game. We got to continue to run the game like we um been running it. And then like somebody said earlier, we got to be able to play 4 quarters. I don't think we did that yet this season. If we're able to do that, we can actually see what this team is could really be if we play 60 minutes in a game. Do you think the Falcons are underrated? Yes, they are underrated, but I'm starting to believe um that they starting to get noticed a little bit. All right, I don't think they're gonna actually get. Eventually, teams gonna start realizing that when they play the Atlanta Falcons, it's gonna be a fight, right? Um, that's what they're starting to see. I think the Falcons every game this year has been a one-score game, right? So um, every game. I mean, we got down by 25 in the Rams, came back, made it one-score game. Got down by 21 against the Bucks, came back, made it a one-score game. So yeah, I think they are underrated, but um, eventually teams starting to see that when you play the Atlanta Falcons, you're gonna have to, come with it, right? You can see that you can see this team's confidence, this team belief, right? Um, it's not pretty. 'Cause like I said, we haven't been playing 40 minutes a game. It definitely is not been pretty football, throughout the game. But you can see these flashes of what this coaching staff is trying to create here in Atlanta, and with these young guys, which that's the one thing you gotta be really, really, um, you gotta like about this team is a lot of these guys are young, right? And the way the contract, the way the NFL contract is structured, um, you'll be able to keep a lot of these guys for a minute before you have to pay some of them. Of course, AJ Terrell is about to get paid. Um, Chris Lindstrom is about to get paid, but other than those two guys, right now, a lot of these other guys are still in their first year contracts. They just paid Grady; they don't have to worry about him. They just paid Jake; they don't have to worry about him. But of course, you got, like I said, you got to pay um, a guy like Chris Lindstrom. Definitely, you got to pay a guy like AJ Terrell. Definitely. Um, but we still going to have some cap space. And if you guys didn't hear what I said earlier, um, right now we got about $7 million, $7,791,000 in cap space right now. This after the Dion Jones trade, of course. Um, we all talked about that dead cap, and like I said, it's a new era, right? Only two players left from that 2016 Super Bowl, and that's Jake Matthews and Grady Jarrett, which they decided they wanted them to part of this new regime, right? Because they gave those guys contracts. Um, we want to wish the best to Dion Jones. Um, he was a monster, and I wrote down some of his stats while he was here. His 6 years in Atlanta, he had 652 tackles, 8.5 sacks, 11 interceptions, and 5 touchdowns. Um, that just says a lot. Dion Jones was a monster for this team. He really was. He was really good. Of course, he had some little slippage last year. Still had 137 tackles with that slippage. So but at the same time, um, I think it was more about the money, the contract, and they was trying to get some of those huge contracts off the book. They did it slow, methodically, and then at the same time, they was able to keep this team competitive during this. Right, when you look at the salary and how our cap was set up, when they first took over the team last year, it was bad. I mean, we got the largest cap hit in NFL, dead cap hit in NFL history, and this team is competitive. By these guys going out and getting these guys on 1 year deals, creating a culture where you come in, you got to prove yourself. It's no one man is bigger than the other man. Everybody's come in. It's competition, 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 and we seeing it play out this season with this team. That's the kind of culture they're building. Um, but it's a new era with this team, and you gotta love the way the direction is going. Young team, you can see some of the young guys making plays week in and week out, and you just hope we can put that, find that little free agency next year, free agents that come in next year to put this all together. One thing we got to find, because I don't care what nobody says, NFL, you got to have a quarterback, right? Um, it's still to be said. I don't think Marcus Mariota is the quarterback of the future. But and I don't know if Desmond Ritter yet, but I don't think he's ready to. We ready to see if he's gonna be the quarterback of the future. Let's go some of the stuff here. The roughing the passer call was a good call in my opinion. Okay, you're wrong, but okay, I won't argue with you. Good for you. It's over. We done with that. It don't matter if it was a good call or not. That game is over. Um, why argue about something you can't control? I think the coaching staff, the players said it best. If they would have went out and 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 actually did something before that, the call wouldn't have mattered. Even though it was a bullshit call, but why even hash it over again? Because you can't change it. Hopefully in the future, like I said, when a referee decide that he feels a call is, in his mind, they can go back and replay it, just like they do the targeting and in college, right? They call targeting on the field, they replay it and see was it targeting, and then they make the correct call that way. So it don't matter, who thinks it was a good call or not. It is what it is. So good to go. It's a good call. It don't matter. Y'all won the game. They won the game. You can't no spill milk. Hey, you got you won. It is what it is. Why would I keep talking about a, a a call that won't get overturned anyway? You know this. I, I think the Saints when the Saints didn't go to the Super Bowl, that was a horrible call. That they should have called pass interference for that. I was happy the Saints didn't go to the Super Bowl. So hey, that was I think the call yesterday was just as bad as that call the Saints didn't get. So I mean, I, you know what? I love when people come in and like you definitely entitled to your opinion, but I think probably a million people. I guarantee you, Tom Brady agree that that was not roughing the passer. Tom Brady, like he said, that's why he said he don't throw the flag. Tom Brady even agrees that that wasn't roughing the passer. So I mean, like I said, but at the end of the day, it's been called already. I mean, that's yesterday. Yesterday's news. We got to move on to San Francisco. So it is what it is, man. You're right. He's 11-0, 11-0 against us. You know, so I mean, it is what it is. He the goat, man. He get the calls, but maybe next time we just won't put it in the ref's hands, but he will get calls like that. That's just the way it is. Um, these guys can't worry about Tom Brady. Right? They ain't gonna win no Super Bowl this year. I can tell you that much. So he messed up his marriage for nothing. Let's see. So guys, really, that's pretty much all I have for today. I want to come in. I want to talk about Dion Jones. Um, Dion Jones doing this thing over the years. We wish him luck in Cleveland. Um, hopefully we get to see him out there doing his things. Hopefully he breaks that pick six record by linebackers because I think he was one record away from that. Um, but of course he will not do it in Atlanta. Um, we have to look at all our guys from the last regime. Matt Ryan, leads the lead in turnovers right now. Julio Jones can't, stay on the field. Um, so, Keanu O'Neal still doing his thing. So we saw Russell Gage yesterday. Um, like made a couple of good plays in the game as well. All those guys, man. We wish them the best. They're gonna be Falcons forever, um, unless they play us right. And then we definitely gonna root for gonna root against those guys. But looking at some of the moves that this regime has made, I think you have to agree with most of all of them. So far, the players that they decide to let go. Wait, what is really going to be interesting next year? What they decide to do with Calvin Ridley. I think Calvin Ridley still is a good talent. Um, $11 million on the books next year. It will be decided if they want to bring him back and put him, part of this culture. He was here last year. I think they would have traded him, if it wasn't been for the whole, gambling thing. So we'll definitely need to see what they decide to do with Calvin Ridley moving forward. Gavin said we need to put Desmond Ritter in. Yep, so many people have your sentiments on that. Like I said, 110 pass rushing, but I don't think we're gonna see Desmond Ritter no time soon. We would have to go on a losing streak to see that, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to do that. Ricardo, how do you think Tyler Algier played? I think Tyler played great yesterday. Um, those running backs, man, I mean, I like all our running backs. I thought Avery Williams is a breath of fresh air for us. But the way He's definitely running the ball. A guy that never played running back, played in high school, didn't play it in college, would come in. His ability to make guys miss. Um, they're finding these guys and put them in positions to make plays. Kayla Huntley is running the ball hard, real hard, right? Tyler Algier is hard to bring down. He really is. He's Hendo holes, um, hard. I love the way Tyler Algier Hendo holes. He really Hendo holes hard, right? So, um, you got to love that. What's going on? What's going on, Thea? So, yeah. So we had somebody come in. I think it was Falcons fan said that the Falcons going to win 6 of their next 8 games. Um, which is really really interesting because if we look at the schedule, of course we got the 49ers at home. We got the Bengals on the road. Um, they're not as good as people thought they were going to be. They did revamp their offensive line, but they definitely been struggling this year. Um, the Carolina Panthers, I think they're in shambles right now. The quarterback's going to be out for 2 weeks. They're gonna have to play their third string quarterback on that team, and they just fired their head coach. Right. The Chargers, it's gonna be a tough win for us. Definitely, it's gonna be very tough for us to win that game against the Chargers. And then we got the Panthers again, the Bears, and the Commanders. So I think the next 2 games is really going to be difficult for us. The Niners, of course, probably playing the best defense in the NFL right now. The Bengals, we're going to Cincinnati. That's going to be tough for us. Um, the Panthers, we should handle our business there. The Chargers going to be another tough one. Then the Panthers again. So we'll see how we fare in those games. Um, this team, the competitiveness of this team, I definitely think we have a chance in every last one of those games to come out with a W. Um, we just need to execute, and we need to start playing that 60-minute game that everybody wants to see. Thea says Anderson showed some flashes. He's going to turn into a very good linebacker. Wickens had a rough game with penalties. Yes, he did. He had a false start. He had a face mask. Yes, he really hurt us. And then and he also had the illegal man down the field, right? On the screenplay. All 3 of those plays was positive plays for the Atlanta Falcons, by the way. So yes, he had a bad game, and he had 3 penalties yesterday. Um, then, of course, we talk about the 2 penalties that our defense had. Um, AJ Terrell had a holding penalty that I don't know. I mean, I thought you're able to touch a guy, within 5 yards from the line of scrimmage. That was a third down, by the way, and they gave them the first down that play, and then of course the phantom roughing the passer call that kept that drive going. Do you think pass protection has been sus? Yeah. I mean, they gave up 5 sacks yesterday. That's a good question. You're starting to kind of worry about the pass protection. Um, like I said, some of the sacks yesterday though, I thought Marcus Mariota ran into it when he did a boot. So I mean, and if you're gonna run that naked boot like that, and if the guy stay home like they did yesterday, um, if he don't get rid of the ball, he ran right into the sack. And that happened twice. I thought on another drop back that he had, like I said, I counted personally. He hold the ball for like 6 seconds. You hold the ball for 6 seconds in NFL, you probably gonna take a sack there. They were saying on the screen that it was a cover sack. Could have been, but you got to have a clock in your head. Hey, I can't hold the ball this long. It was like 6. I counted. The ball was snapped. I counted. It was 6 alligators. So, and if you hold the ball for that long, more than likely, you're going to take a sack. So to me, those 3 sacks right there, the other 2, um, or just good plays by the defense. So yes, the offensive line it has an issue. I thought um Jake Matthews got beat by the rookie Joe Tryon a couple of times as well, which was uncharacteristic from Jake Matthews. But I thought he got beat a couple of times on blitzes. So um, those are some of the things that we definitely need to work on. Like I said, guys, a work in progress, work in progress. Every week we got to build and build until we get where we want to be. The Falcons will be elite offense if they get the passing game. Yeah, I agree 100%, man. I agree 100%. I mean, everybody wants. I mean, this the question. So I guess the question we ask about this about Desmond Ritter. Everybody want Desmond Ritter to get in. What did Desmond Ritter get in the game and it don't work? Then what? Do we go back to Marcus Mariota? I mean, because I think why the running game is so effective because Marcus Mariota is well. Like I said, I really do. I really believe that his command of the offense helps us, you know, be able to run that ball the way we able to run it. So I think our running game would kind of hurt a little bit if we put Dash Murder in. I agree. I think we might be able to pass more precision. I think Desmond is way more accurate than Marcus Mariota is. But you just you gotta be sure. I think this coaching staff is want to be 100% sure. If you're gonna go ahead and make that change to put Desmond in, um, you got to make sure that's the right decision. Like I said, you don't want to rush the young guy because you a lot of times, right? When you see the Steelers, what they just did yesterday this week, they went on to put Kenny Pickett in, and he put up 3 points. Right, they got destroyed by the Buffalo Bills, and that's what young quarterbacks gonna have to understand. You come in, you it's gonna be a learning curve for you. Look at Justin Fields right now. He's hating life, in Chicago. Um, and so we don't have to do that with Desmond Ritter. You know, let's not do it. Let Marcus Mariota go in there, take the hits, show him how to run his offense, command his offense, and then when the coaching staff feel like he's ready, then put Des Murder in. So that's what I think they need to do. Murder still having trouble passing over the middle. Yes, everything's high. I agree. And then, like I said earlier, it seemed like he throw the deep ball well either. So I mean it. I mean, if we see it, the coaching staff see it. I mean, these guys get paid for a living. This is what they do. Um, so I'm 100% sure that if we as fans see where Marcus Mariota, his disadvantages are, pretty sure they see it well. And if they decide not to make that decision, it's a reason for that. I mean, this just got to be what it is. I don't think Arthur Smith shows any favoritism. I mean, let's keep it real. He already benched the guy one time when he was, it may have been the head coach, but he was the offensive coordinator. So he already benched the guy one time. So I don't think he hesitant to not, you know, go ahead and making that change. So what it tells me is that maybe Desmond Ritter is just not ready yet to go in and actually take over, command the offense. I think the offense is really complicated. I mean, if you look at all the motions and all the different ways they have guys in different positions, it's probably simple but still complex at the same time, especially for a young rookie quarterback. Um, Desmond Ridder seems like he's a smart cat, though. I think he already has a little bit of grasp of the offense, but you know when you playing against Vita Vea and you know Shaq Barrett and guys like that, um, it kind of is a little different, right? Marcus Mario had that experience. He's in there. He don't been in the battles before. Um, Let him show Desmond the ropes for a while. And like I said, if we stay where we're at, around 500, a little bit start to get wins to get over 500. I don't think we're going to see a change in quarterback no time soon. And right now, I think the teams still believe in Marcus Mariota as well. Kevin says Still pleased with our games, knowing that we have stuff to improve and the game is still competitive. Yeah, man, it's really it's kind of weird, right? Because when you think about it, like if you look at the stats, I mean, like I said, 110 passing yards. I mean, you would think that the Atlanta Falcons is getting destroyed in games. Um, but if you watch the game, you see that's not the case. I mean, if you look at the the yards that the defense is giving up, you would think that they're just putting up so many points, but in reality, the defense give up a lot of yards, but they're not giving up as many points. I mean, we gave up 7 points in the second half in this game. 7 points in the second half. Um, and like I said, that can go unnoticed because we look so bad on offense. But if it weren't for our defense, I mean, they had three straight three and outs. Um, that defense did, and that goes unnoticed, right? Because we wasn't putting up points, but those three straight three and outs help us get back into the game. It really did. We was able to get two touchdowns, right? And I love the way Arthur Smith plays the mental game with the opposing coach, right? Because everybody's looking at it, score a touchdown, kick a field goal, you're down seven, right? His mentality, you score a touchdown, you go for two. Now a touchdown and an extra point wins the game. That's the mentality that Arthur Smith was playing with, right? I mean, because you think about it, if you don't get the two, you still can go for two again and tie the game up. So, um, I love the way he's playing that, and like I said, you actually putting it back in the opposing coach hand now because now they know um a touchdown to win it against their defense, not tie it, right? And now they want to go back down and put more points on the board. So they want to, you don't want them to try to milk the clock and try to go into their 4 minute offense. That's not what we want them to do. We want them to do that so we can play our game. Yes, yes, yes. It's how many times we complain about giving up a lot of points second half, plus we still run the ball. Yes, that's why we was able to continue our game plan, right? Because we already, like I said, we only passed 110 yards. So if our defense would have kept giving up points, I mean, can we be a drop back pass team? I don't know. I don't know if we can do that consistently. So the fact that our defense kept us in the game, able for our offense to continue to run the ball, stick to the game plan, and make it competitive at the end is like I said, that's complimentary football, right? Our defense was able to hold up long enough for our offense to get on track, and we actually had a chance to actually win the game. And once again, in my opinion, I think Grady Jarrett 3 weeks in a row made a defensive sack to get a ball back to the offense. Right? We're not going to talk about what happened, but 3 weeks in a row, Grady Jarrett has made a play. We're gonna start calling him Big Game Grady, because that's what he do. Big play Grady, man. Have to put pressure on his back on them if they fold it. Yes, he does. That's good, man. Yes, he does every time. He did the same thing to the Rams, right? And what happened with the Rams, right? They tried to go back and score again, and we was able to get the turnover. Darren Hall punched out the ball on Cooper Cup, and we would have won if we would have scored right there. We would have won the game, right? Same thing yesterday against the Bucks. It's the same kind of philosophy. I love it. It's real smart. Like I said, situationally football. Um, People thinking about it, like I said, but they got the analytics and things like that. But I just think it's smart because it's kind of psychological now. Like I said, 7 points would tie the game, but now 7 points actually win it for us now. It's I think it's good. Of course, we have to execute and get that 2 point conversion, but on both occasions we was able to get the 2 point conversion, right? So you gotta love the way Arthur Smith is thinking right now. Do you think Arthur Smith is the future? Is the future of the Falcons right now? Yeah, it look. right now for this new regime right now, yes. All right, we have to see. Like I said, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. The for any NFL team, um, it's always about the quarterback, though. Right, a quarterback will get you fired. Your quarterback, if you don't have a franchise quarterback, um, you might not be there long. So it's really going to be based off what Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith is able to do with getting that quarterback. Desmond Ritter might be that guy. We don't know yet, but um, it's going to be about the quarterback position. I just really believe that you can build a team, around and start building a good culture and things like that. But in the NFL, if you don't have a quarterback, um, because these guys make make the play. They have the ball in their hand more than anybody, the quarterback, right? They have to make the decisions. They don't want executing the plays that you call. You have to have a good quarterback. You got to have a leader out there. And until the Falcons get their next future franchise quarterback, it's not that easy. Now look at some of the franchises that's been trying to find a franchise quarterback for years, right? um, and it's really tough. So it's not as easy. It's just saying that we're gonna plug any guy in, they'll be able to run my system. You can't do that at the quarterback position. Yes, you can find running backs to fit your system. You find different receivers to fit your system, but you need the right quarterback to run your system. Um, I mean, look at Sean Payton and Drew Brees for years, right? Um, look at it. I mean, look like Buffalo found their franchise quarterback. Um, Looks like Baltimore got their franchise quarterback. They need to pay that man. But that's the issue right now. Chicago still is trying to search. Maybe Justin Field will be it. We don't know. Um, he already one coach already been fired, right? So if the coach don't start winning, we'll see, right? Look like the Chargers found their franchise quarterback. The Bengals, right? Of course, the Chiefs got their franchise quarterback. Quarterbacks, in my opinion, is the name of the game in this league. And hey, maybe that's why you know they call roughing the passers when it's not roughing the passer because they're trying to protect the quarterbacks. Kevin says, uh, Kevin said, I can see Ritter playing in the second half of the season, if only to see what he have. Doesn't seem as hesitant to pull the trigger. Yes, I mean I agree with you. It really depends on the record though. That's just my opinion. I really believe it depends on the record. Only way I can see Desmond Ritter playing if we start losing a lot of games, right? And this season is where it is. We eliminated from the playoffs, right? We going to just concentrate on next season. I can see Desmond Ritter giving in, and if I don't know if Terry Fontenot or Art Smith had this conversation and they want to see, right, going into next year draft, what Desmond Ritter is all about, right? Of course, they seen him in practice and things like that, but until put a guy, you know, in live fire, you really don't know. So uh, eventually, I guess they would definitely have to find that out to see what he's all about. But sometimes, and the reason I say that because I think right now at this point, I think we all agree that Mariota is probably a bridge quarterback. I don't think he's the future right now because um, he's just not. He's just not, franchise. I don't think he's franchise quarterback material. I think he's a good bridge quarterback for a franchise quarterback, but um, and then that's not taking anything away from Marcus Mariota. I just think that um, he's not the future of the Falcons at franchise as our quarterback. Does it say we're giving up on the season if he gets in? Like I said, it depends, right? I don't know, Uh, and I don't think it. I don't think it really say that we're giving up on the season because, like I said, I mean as fans, right? We out there watching games and we keep seeing Marcus Mariota throw high, right? Missing this, missing that, missing this. And maybe Desmond Ritter is working behind the scenes, getting reps in practice every day. And then at some point they might be like, okay, he's ready. He's ready to go. He's ready to go. We need to put him in because we're not getting what we need out of Marcus. It could they could Marcus Mariota could be on the short leash. We just don't know, right? Like I said, because if we see it, they see it. And I don't think they dumb coaches. I mean, they see the high throws, they see the inaccurate passes down the field. Um, they see all that, but I know they also see his command of the offense. They see how he gets the guys in and out, plays and things like that. So they see the good as well, and maybe it's a scale. They're weighing it, the good and the bads, and how much bad it would be if this were to get in, right? So like we just don't know um, about what they're thinking about the quarterback situation. But yeah, I don't really think we saying we're giving up on the season. I'm just don't know if they feel like he gave us the better opportunity to win right now. No, don't no, I know that's what we feel, right? But only thing we seen from Desmond Ritter is what we seen in preseason. That's it. That's it. So I mean, at the end of the day, we don't know how good he will be in live fire when guys are scheming for you each week and week out, right? We don't know yet. So until we see that, maybe they feel like you know Marcus Mariota the better option right now. Uh, you're right. You don't want to set up the young pick. Yes, I don't want to. I definitely don't want to set him at the field. Um, I mean, I think Dean P said that last year. Richard Grant. He didn't want to put Richard Grant out there, right? Because he felt like Richard Grant weren't ready yet. And now look at Richard Grant this year. He's in the rhythm, man. Richard Grant comes up. The guy makes some plays. Um, like he's going to be that bust everybody thought he might be. I think positive markets has brought outweighs the negatives. I agree. That's the point I'm making, right? I think the things he do well is they're willing to live with those things because um because I don't know if they think that Desmond Ritter can do those things as well as Marcus Mariota do. That's where I think it's at right now. All right. The things he don't do well, throwing the ball, accuracy and down the field. Yes, I think Desmond Ritter probably does that better. But the things that Marcus Mariota does well, I think outweighs outweighs the things he does bad. So I agree with you 100% on that. He did have a nice 20-yard run. Yes, Marcus did. Yes, he did, man. That was nice. And then he got down too. You saw that? I think they talked to him about getting down. He did get down to protect himself. So I mean, those are the kind of things you got to look at, right? So I mean, that's the element of him that I don't think we would get at Desmond Ritter. Desmond Ritter, he's athletic, he's mobile, but he's not like Marcus Mariota. He's not a really running quarterback per se. So it'll be different, right? I think Desmond more of a scrambler, to get out of pocket when he has to. But Marcus Mariota, I mean, he's part of the running game. And I don't think Desmond Ritter is really that kind of quarterback. So all right, guys, it's an hour and 15 minutes. We've been talking. I definitely want to hear about you guys. With you could definitely leave some comments, below about um, Dion Jones. What you guys think about that? Um, like I said, we moving on to San Francisco, right? It's over. We can't go back. We can't live in the past about um, roughing the passer calls. That not never it's not going to change anyway. But please come back in here on Wednesday. We'll talk about my keys to victory for the against the 49ers. Hopefully we get some updates on Kyle Pitts, get some updates on Michael Walker, see where those guys at. Um look like Drake London said he's fine. He did go out the game. kind of worried me a little bit, because I was like, man, if Drake London go out there to be bad. But he said he's fine. So um, moving forward, hopefully we get, maybe we get Kyle Pitts back. Hopefully that that hamstring wasn't too bad. Definitely don't want him to, have the issue throughout the season though. So if he needs to sit out another week, we just have to, have the next man up mentality again. Another home game, get ready. Good defense coming in. Got to get back on the winning record, back on the winning track. Hopefully we can do that. So guys, that's all I have today. This is your boy Ricondo. Come back at you with another video. Peace.